Putin's personal bodyguards are an elite, hand-picked unit within Russia's Federal Protective Service, or FSO, where bulletproof umbrellas and a can-do attitude are all part of a day's work. At least, that's the story. Before we dive into specifics, you have to keep in mind that Putin's personal protective measures probably aren't as transparent as some outlets like to report. After all, a major part of security is secrecy. If the world knows the ins and outs of how a person is protected, then they also know how to bypass those protections. So is everything out there true? Frankly, probably not. In fact, one of the main sources describing the intricacies of Putin's personal bodyguards is Russia Beyond, which is operated by a Russian state news agency. So, take some of this with a grain of salt. Still, one thing that's true is that Putin does indeed have a retinue of personal bodyguards who apparently accompany him everywhere in public. The Russian president's security measures entail a lot of things, but his personal guards have one simple task: protect Putin's body. To do so, the Musketeers, as they've been known to refer to themselves, apparently have to meet some pretty stringent physical requirements, according to Russia Beyond. That outlet says that in order to even be considered for the position, they have to be between 5 foot 9 inches and 6 foot 3 inches tall and weigh between 165 and 198 pounds. Each guard is also relieved from his duties once he hits his 35th birthday. As far as on-the-job duties are concerned, Putin's bodyguards reportedly wear the same suits and ties in any weather, no matter how hot or how cold. The rationale, according to Russia Beyond, is that thicker, heavier clothing impedes movement and might make it harder for guards to react in emergency situations. But since videos appear to show them wearing overcoats sometimes, that may not be a hard and fast rule. Interestingly, Vladimir Putin's bodyguards don't have to have any former police or military training. Rather, they have to demonstrate operational psychology, which one of his former security employees defined to Russia Beyond as the ability to predict dangerous scenarios and react to invisible threats. Bodyguards aren't soldiers who fight in combat situations. If actual combat is required, then they've already failed in their fundamental preventative duties. Russia Beyond continues by saying that knowledge of foreign languages, customs, and politics is just as important as physically protecting the president. But more than simply knowing about foreign politics and customs, Russia's Federal Protection Services produces official intelligence reports. As The Economist quotes, the FSO is responsible for developing information warfare measures, detections, warnings, and consequence management of computer attacks on Russian information resources. Presumably, Putin's FSO musketeers are privy to these reports, if not involved in generating them. According to Russia Beyond, Putin's bodyguards are required to carry certain high-tech items, although not all of them look particularly high-tech. Each bodyguard has to carry the same sidearm. His bodyguards also carry bulletproof items like briefcases and Kevlar umbrellas. While the latter sounds like a ridiculous item straight out of a James Bond movie, it seems to be completely true.
This is no place for you, Q. Go home.
As for other equipment, well, here's where things get a bit Hollywood. Russia Beyond says that extreme driving is a necessary requirement for many of Putin's bodyguards. Some detachment of his personal FSO retinue comprises a heavy Spec Ops unit that carries AK-47s, grenade launchers, anti-air missile systems, and sniper rifles. While we don't exactly have a chart describing precisely how Putin's bodyguards are separated into this or that specialized group, we can assume that there are some fairly strict rules at play determining who gets to drive the president's armored vehicles and who gets to wield military weaponry around him. When the president is out and about in public, as Russia Beyond outlines, bodyguards occupy one of 4 circles around the Russian leader, with each circle responsible for carrying out certain duties and obeying certain rules. The first circle comprises earpiece-wearing guards who stay ultra close to Putin and act as human shields if he's under threat. However, it's the second circle of guards that might spell the difference between Putin's life and death. These guards wind their way through crowds while keeping an eye out for threats. Then there's the third circle, which forms a barrier around the entire group of people present at a given event and prevents anyone from entering and leaving the perimeter. And finally, we've got snipers who hang out at high heights like rooftops and scan the crowd. And while there's no word on whether or not members of Putin's bodyguard rotate through these different circles, it stands to reason that each musketeer has to demonstrate proficiency when operating within each of them. Finally, Vladimir Putin's bodyguards are obligated to follow any order, no matter what. As the European Press Prize puts it, the president's personal musketeers must exhibit an unconditional willingness to obey his every word. One former bodyguard named Alexei Duman said, "There's never been a time when he's given me a task and I've said no, but it's not all glamorous." According to The Independent, his bodyguards have also been tasked with collecting his, bodily wastes while he's making visits abroad. It's then sealed and brought back to Russia. Why? According to the outlet, it's so foreign nations can't analyze any of the material to figure out his state of health. A job that might require you to risk your life to protect someone no doubt comes with plenty of danger, but there are clearly perks for people who commit their loyalty to Putin. The Economist reports that Putin has been steadily appointing his most trusted former bodyguards to positions within the Russian government. They have all the requirements, after all: knowledge of language and politics, a history of accompanying the president to meetings with other important figures, and probably most important of all, unwavering loyalty to Putin himself. And if anybody would know about such things, it's Duman. He and two other top bodyguards, Viktor Zolotov and Oleg Klementiev, have received rich nepotistic rewards for their services, particularly in the form of some of Russia's top tracts of land. Duman even became governor of a region in the south of Russia, while Klementiev became first deputy director of the Federal Guard Service, and Zolotov head of the National Guard. In 2024, Duman was appointed to the influential position of Secretary of the State Council.